Melanie from Melanie's Muses here, where I muse about things in the entertainment world that are entertaining to me, and sometimes weird and random other videos too, and hopefully you guys come along for the ride. Today, I'm back with a Zoom chat with author Susan Harris. Yay!
Hey, everyone.
All the way from Ireland. And Muses sent in some questions, a bunch of questions, and there were so many questions. I love all the questions, you guys, but there were so many that we sort of went through, and we tried to pick at least one question from everyone that we're going to ask. But there were so many, there would just be no way. This would be like a 3.5 hour Zoom chat if we were to get into all of that.
You're like a convention.
It would. So you guys, if that's what you actually want, you need to leave a comment on the video saying that's what you want, is like a convention. That would be a long old chat. I mean, Susan and I could chat for that long. Susan Harris, who is an author from Ireland who mixes her hand in a bunch of different things. We have the Everchase Chronicles, which is like a paranormal criminal minds. We have the Sanguine Crown series, which is her young adult vampires. She has a one-off young adult, Shattered Memories, that will wreck you, which is one I always like to talk about. And we have the Romeo and Juliet reimagining, which is also young adult. 3 books in that series, 3, not 1. It doesn't end with the first one. All right, did you have any other questions that really caught your eye that you'd like to start with, or you want me to just pick them at random?
Just pick them at random.
All right, I'm going to go with one from Ashley first, because it sort of is a bit of a background on the books. Ashley once says, yes. Ashley wants to know, which is Norse mythology. Oh, I can't talk today. Norse mythology plays a big part in the Everchase Chronicles. Did you look into other mythologies before deciding on that one, or did you know from the beginning that was the direction you were going to go in?
No, I actually did look at a couple of different mythologies, like Greek, Roman.
I didn't know that.
It was the story was kind of set, so I knew I wanted to do a paranormal Criminal Minds because I love Criminal Minds, and the story idea for the story came about after watching an episode of Criminal Minds and thinking, what would it be like if Hutch was a werewolf? And that was exactly where Derek came from.
It figures, because Hutch is really annoying, so that figures that he'd be Derek.
No, the way I looked at it, Hutch was very stoic and very stern, but then in later years he kind of relaxed a little bit, so that's kind of the way I was going. And there's a lot more in Arsonist Lullaby and in Of Gods and Monsters where you get to see a different side of Derek. Melanie hates him, so she doesn't care what she sees about him. But
I did like the bit where he was getting tortured. That was good.
It was like the conversation we had yesterday. I said, there's going to be parts in the book that you're going to like, but no, Derek is not dead. Spoiler alert to anybody.
I mean, he's the main character in the book. I mean, although that would be beyond you to kill off a main character, but it's like, I pretty much accepted this is like Derek's going to make it to the end. Yeah. Was there a particular, do you remember what the episode of Criminal Minds was? Or was it just like, that just sort of like,
it was the dynamic. It was like, I've always loved characterization and world building in books. So like I fall in love with characters before I fall in love with the world, and it's the characters. And when I started writing, I wanted to create 3-dimensional characters that felt like that they were real, because they're real to me. And even now, as I'm towards the ends of Gods and Monsters, and I know that that's ending and we're saying goodbye, maybe for now, but we're saying goodbye. It's kind of like the characters, I'm like, I don't want to leave them, but that's what kind of the dynamic. And you could see what there was different characters and there was different backgrounds of people, but they were a family at the end of it. And it was all about people that might not have had a family themselves, but they came together and they created their own sort of family and a family bond. And that's what I wanted to create with the guys. But it was kind of like, going back to Ashley's question with the Norse mythology, I'm a massive fan of Marvel and of that kind of Norse mythology that they have with that. So I kind of, it was only one day when I was sitting down and I was saying, I knew Ever had a secret. I knew she was going to be supernatural, but I didn't know what she was going to be. I was going to have her as a fury. I was going to have her as a goddess from Greece, but nothing seemed to fit with the dynamic of a warrior. So then Valkyries came to mind and I said, that's perfect. And then her whole family history came about and it just seemed to slot in place.
It just all fell into. Did you know she's going to be a whiny person from the beginning? Whine about everything.
She's not whiny. She is
so whiny.
She has little bits of moments where she doubts herself, but that's it. You just don't like her.
I don't, because she's whiny. That's why I don't like her. Oh, poor me, I have superpowers. I have to save the world. I'm sorry,
Well, wait till you read the last book.
Okay. Because you said about Marvel, I'm actually going to jump over to Krista's question, which is completely, I love it. It's so weird and random. Krista Myers-Gill from CRAD says, not book or music related, but I want to know who you think would win in a fight, Baby Yoda or Baby Groot?
Oh, Baby Groot has to be. Marvel all the way.
Why? Because Baby Groot is just a tree, right?
But Baby Yoda's just a baby.
No, he's not though, because Baby Yoda, all right, I asked Krista, I was like, I don't know enough about either, because I'm not really a Marvel girl and I'm not a baby, but I do watch a lot of CRAD videos. And for those of you that want to check out, Krista is like the expert on all things Baby Yoda, the child, Grogu, whatever you want to call him. So I'm going to put a little link up there to take you up there. It's cool, yeah, see? And then you can go to there. So I was like, all right, so what powers does this Baby Yoda have then that they will be able to do anything? Now, Baby Yoda has the Force. So do you know anything about Star Wars? Am I just going to be, I don't know what that is. Okay, so he's a Jedi and they can use the Force. So they like use the Force and you can move things, and like Darth Vader likes to choke people with it. I don't think Baby Yoda would choke people, but he can do that. He can also heal, but I don't know if he can heal other people. He can heal other people. I don't know if he could heal himself in a fight. But so he's got the Force, but he's a baby and he does get tired. But Groot's a tree. So what would he do in a fight? How would he win?
Smack him with branches.
Yeah, but Baby Yoda then could use the Force to push him away. Like, oh.
This feels like it's a longer conversation and we need Krista in here to have this conversation.
No, because I literally said to Chris, I was like, okay, I'm going to have to argue this with Susan and I know nothing about either. So give me your part. So I got that part. I was like, okay, I can do the Force stuff because original Star Wars, I know. But yeah, so there you go. Oh, I'm going to jump from there. So Krista, basically we need to have you on a call as well. And then you two can argue it out and I will moderate because I don't really know. But I have to say, sorry, Susan, I'm kind of team Baby Yoda because Groot is just a tree.
But you prefer DC over Marvel anyway, so you were going to side with Star Wars anyway.
I do. But Star Wars is Disney, so, you know. You're talking about characters. I'm going to jump all over the place here because you were saying that you have characters and the characters sort of, fit in and they all sort of mesh together. May Rose Hana would like to know, is there a character you've always had in your mindset, but you've never found a place for yet in any of your stories?
There was, but she's getting her own story and it's coming in August.
Oh, see?
Kiva, I've always had, like, it annoys me sometimes, but I love when you see people who misinterpret Irish heritage or the Irish accent. And I created Kiva basically because of the fact that she's red-haired with freckles, she's small, she's quintessentially Irish, and she's a banshee. So
other than the thing, and my hair's a bit red rather than orange, but I could, and it's not curly either. So okay, so no, not Kiva at all. But that fits in with May Rose's another question. What do you think of the movie Waking Ned Divine? Now, I never heard of that, so I googled it, and I'm guessing it's because it's sort of set in Ireland. It's an Ireland-based.
It is, and it was only when I was looking at the questions, I was there. I don't think I've seen that because I didn't recognize the name, but when I googled it as well, I've actually seen bits of it, and I kind of tend to stay away from Irish related movies. I know that's probably strange, but
I get it. I mean, with English, when you have American, so there's so many English actors, why would you pick an American to play an English actor? I don't understand that. But vice versa as well. It's like there's so many Americans, why would you pick an English person to play an American character? And I don't understand that either.
It's very strange. Like, I love watching Irish historical stuff. Like Michael Collins is one of my favorite movies with Liam Neeson. We also have it's a really, really quintessential Irish movie called Into the West. I don't think there's a lot of people, but Gabriel Byrne is in it, and it's about two young boys who lose their mother, and they think that the horse is their mother, so they take the horse and they go through. But it sounds shocking that I'm saying
that sounds very strange. Yeah, okay,
right. But it's all based on mythology, and the horse's name is Tiernan Og, and that's what they do. And it's those kind of movies, because Gabriel Byrne is obviously Irish, his accent, it's like when you watched what was it, that one that's coming out with Jamie Dornan, who I absolutely adore in The Fall, when he has his normal Northern Ireland accent. Yum. But when he was in this, what's it called? The one with Emily Blunt in it.
50 Shades of Grey.
No,
that's the only other one I know he's in, and he's in. Wasn't he in Once Upon a Time?
It's not out yet, but he's.
I have no idea. I don't see this. I don't follow actors. I have no idea what they're doing until it like pops up in a trailer, and I'm like, oh, who's that?
He's going to be in this movie now. He's Irish.
Okay.
His accent is shocking. Now he was also in the Siege of Jacksonville, which is an old Irish war movie thing that we watched as well, and he had a Kerry accent, and now it was perfect. But somehow between trying to play Kerry and have his own Northern Ireland accent, he couldn't do a Middle Ireland accent, and it was just, I was like, no.
Now, do you think he couldn't, or do you think, I often wonder sometimes whether the director's like, well, that's not how we think it should sound, so you need to make it sound more like this? Because I know when they're getting English actors, sometimes they're like, no, that's not the right. They're like, well, this is how they would talk there. They don't all talk the same. And you've got someone from up north, and they're making them do a London Cockney accent. They're like, no, but that's what we expect them to sound like. I wonder sometimes how much is the director's like input.
But he's Irish. He would know better. He should know better than to say, okay, this is not going to go down well, because I think back to, I don't know whether anybody has watched the Circle of Friends with by Maeve Binchy. It was a book, and it's starring Chris O'Donnell, who I absolutely adore in NCIS Los Angeles, whose surname is what I used for
Irish, yeah.
So absolutely adore. But he was in this with Minnie Driver way back when, and he spoke in it, and the way he talked, it was basically this. He sounded like we were all whimsical leprechauns and pots of gold at the end of the rainbow. Nobody in Ireland.
That is the best.
I don't think I talk like that. Greg probably thinks I do, but I don't.
Talk like, when he does the accent, because Greg always sounds like a weird leprechaun when he does it, but no, you don't sound like that to me. But I see you have Sons of Anarchy shirt on. What did you think? I know you were a big fan of them in Ireland for the Irish.
It was fine until the theme song started playing, and they had, as I call it, the diddly eye music, where you expect Riverdance to start coming out, doing the formation of the Irish dancing and the curls, and I was like, no.
Oh, that's what they should have done. They should have had the sons do have Jacks and Chibs and Dish dancing. Can you imagine? Oh my god, that would be so funny.
They didn't even go to Northern Ireland in the end. It was filmed in America, but they went to Northern Ireland, which was strange.
Well, they probably couldn't get passports and stuff, and they had a baby that they were trying to deal with, so that was all kind of weird. But I mean, that happens a lot. To be fair, that happens a lot with places they're not filmed where they're supposed to be filmed and what have you. But I'm going to jump back in because we have a lot of questions on here. Amanda Horton would like to know, did you ever have an ill-fated character or situation that you changed the outcome because you felt too attached to the character?
Yes. Erica in the Everchase Chronicles. She was not supposed to survive past Smoke and Mirrors.
Really? So that's really early on you were going to whack her off.
With the end of Smoke and Mirrors, what happened at the end of Smoke and Mirrors before Night of the Hunter, she was going to die. So her death was planned. It was supposed to be the catalyst for ever doing what she did and where she went. And
then we'd never back down.
Exactly. And it was like, when I was writing the character, I wrote her in to be hated. I wrote her as a character.
And she was just not having any of that. She's like, nope.
No, she was having none of it. There was conversations, and she was like I am fierce. Hear me roar.
I love it.
I want my own book. And it's going to be
I mean, I love Erica. To me, I think I would have been absolutely devastated if Erica had died off that early, partly because she was so obnoxious to Eva, and that's always a big plus to me. Anyone who's in there poking
he was definitely out of, like, I from start to finish, I'm a bit of a planner when it comes to deaths. And
that comes into Jodie's question, because she says, are you a plotter or a pantster? And Greg saw that and he's like, what on earth does that mean? I was like, well, it's just, do you lay it out or do you just see what happens when it comes? And I know for a fact you are a big planner. Yeah, but it's nice to know that the characters jump in there and go,
yeah, there's a few characters. Like, I had plans even in the Sanguine and Crown, I had plans on killing off a major character.
You gotta be really careful. Watch the spoilers.
This is not a spoiler, because like
it didn't happen.
Yeah, so it was a toss up between, when I was writing Butterfly Effect, because I like to torch myself and Ryan. We have these conversations, and she has a tortured life. So what happened after book 1? You didn't think it could get any worse than that, but at the end of book 2, there was supposed to be another death that would lead into Wicked Game, and it would fuel her ability to withstand what she took, because she just kept losing people, and people were dropping like flies, and it was either going to be 2 of the main people that helped her get to where she was. So it was either going to be Jack or Atticus were going to die. And
you'd have been so hated, hated.
But it was like, as soon as I started writing them, because I didn't know, like, the process that I do. Through. You're a massive part of the process when I'm starting a book with the ideas and everything. This was all planned out. And when I started writing Chaos Theory, and I started having whisperings in my head of a relationship that might surprise people, and I was like going, well, I can't kill them now. People will hate me because they'll love them, and I'll kill them.
That's exactly what I was like. People would have hated. I mean, you do tortured cliffhangers, and now I don't do the crime books. I make a big point of it. I'm not a fan of crime books and whatever, and yet one of your the first book I ever read from you is so out of my comfort realm reading wise. Like, I would never have seen myself loving it. I mean, that's testament to your writing, that you were able to like pull me in, and it's the only time I literally had to put my I was like, I just got to take a minute and then I'll read that again and see if that's actually what I just read. I was so shocked. And it's very hard. I mean, I've read a lot of say it's very hard to get that kind of reaction from me.
I know.
But it's like, and I think before we had a lot of conversations, you weren't always sure if what I was telling you was exactly, and it is, what I say is exactly what I think about everything. But you would have been hated. I don't think I would have been like, no. But
Erica was definitely the main one, but she was having none of it. She was like, no, I can see where I'm headed. I need my own book, and there's no getting out of that. Like, so even the way that the books were supposed to go, because I had planned it that after Night of the Hunter, it would have been Ricky and Melanie's book, but because Erica stayed alive,
hijacked all of that,
he had to go in there, and it was like, no.
Fair enough. So Jodie, because we were just talking about plotter and pantser, Jodie Gallagher's had another question. She's like, what is your writing process that when we just kind of went through that? And it's like, and how much vodka? Now that is a throwback because of the question that you put up when she was doing it, and I love that. It's like back and forth. So how much vodka, Susan?
Not much. I'm not really a vodka person. I was younger as a Bacardi, more Bacardi than I was vodka, but I'm more of a cider girl now, not the weird American cider.
Not the weird American cider. And if you're not sure what that's about, I'm going to put a link up there to the video where Susan, Greg and I were talking about, and we have a big discussion about the difference between American cider and proper cider. Proper cider.
I don't know whether my writing process is unique or whether it's different. It's always, because you have to listen to me.
Not poor me. I'd be poor you. Oh my goodness.
have you a second? And Melanie knows she's come up with another idea.
But no, I love that. I mean, it's not poor man, it's exciting for me because the ideas that you have, and it's really fun for me because I get to like flesh things out. And I could never be an author, I could never be a writer. A huge kudos to everybody that it's just not in my makeup, even though my dad, you know, wrote books. It's just not part of my DNA. But I sort of get to put my little touch. And I hear a lot of me, like I hear my ideas come out in some of your stories, and that's amazing to me. Absolutely amazing, and I love that. That and the fact that you take a lot of lines from me and Greg and like just our everyday life, and it's like
it's like I have when we're watching the lives, I have a pen and paper next to me, and if there's anything comes up, it's just taken down or it's screenshotted, and I'm like, yeah, that has to go in there somewhere.
That is so funny. But to me, that is so funny, and I love it when I read it in the books. And I'm like, oh, that was us. I mean, the pitter patter line and the other that cracked me up because that's such a Greg thing. Greg had a question actually. I texted him and I was like, I'm going to be jumping on the call with Susan. So is there anything you want to ask? And he said, what are you going to do when you run out of places to put your new tattoos of your books?
I don't know. At the moment, it's with COVID, we're still in lockdown in Ireland. So it's nearly been 12 months since I got a tattoo and I'm having serious withdrawal symptoms. But it's like, I need to start getting smaller ones. I started with bigger ones of the tattoos thinking, I won't be writing that long. I won't be. I'll run out of ideas.
But the stories just keep coming. Yeah, and there's more coming.
And there is more coming. And there's
there's a new series coming. And then there's a possible other 2 new series that I can think of off the top of my head floating out. Maybe 3.
2 new series and maybe 2 spin-offs.
Yeah. Which is pretty awesome. So you definitely you're going to need more space.
Yeah. I have a full arm-ish and I have a full leg left. So we could work something out that way. But
well, you are going to have to just start scaling down. Like by the time you get to the security ones, they're going to
be when we show those logos, those fantastic logos, I'm just going to get the security one up there. But I think I need my side down here for Ryan. I haven't got a Chaos Theory one yet, so I need one for that. But
yeah, that would work. I mean, those logos are so cool. I'm trying not to because I want to say, and it's like I can't say because it hasn't been, but they are so cool. This is one of the great things. I get sneak peeks of like the logos and everything, and that's super cool. So you guys, there's going to be super cool swag coming for those. Trust me on that one. They are amazing. But I'm going to jump right in with another question because we have a lot. This is a really interesting one from Dana. She obviously put a lot of thought into this, Dana Stevenson. If you had to choose one place to live, where would you choose and why? And she gave you options. Your options are, number 1, a desert planet where chances of finding water are 35%, but it's very hot and dry with strong winds. A frozen planet, chances of finding water are good, 90%, but it's frozen and they have many underground caves. Or a jungle planet where your chances of finding water are 100%, but there are dinosaur creatures roaming around.
Yeah, definitely wouldn't be A because I don't like the sun. I'm not a sun person. If you ask me to go, I'll prefer snow over sun, but we don't get much of either in Ireland. It's more rain than anything else.
My snow. I've got a ton of it out there.
I'm jealous of your snow, but then I feel bad because I look at the news reports and I see, and I'm like,
well, that's like Texas. Texas is really struggling because they're not. I mean, up here, honestly, we're so built for it that the houses are designed for it, and the roads. I mean, we have to get real avalanche type snow for it to even slow anything down. Everyone just keeps going. The first time the kids had to go to school, I looked out the window and there was like this much snow. I'm like, snow day. Greg laughed. I mean, the kids were like 3 and 4, and Maria was doing about 7 or 8. And it was just like, I'm like, you're going to leave the house? He's like, this is nothing. And now I look outside, there's 6 foot of snow, and I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. I'd be a mix up between B and C. B because it would be cold and I wear my hoodies and I'd be warm. But then dinosaurs. So.
But you could kill the dinosaurs and then you got food. That's how I'm looking at it. I'd be like, well, the dinosaurs, you'd have food. There's no food on any of the other ones. You got water, but no food.
Just a velociraptor and he's running after me, I'm dead. It's like in The Walking Dead.
Well, it doesn't say you don't have weapons.
I know, but
there's nothing on there that says anything about the rule about weapons. Maybe you've got weapons with you.
Would you
I'd have
run
weapons with me.
after if a velociraptor was chasing after you? Nope.
Throw a knife.
Nope. It's like if there's a zombie apocalypse, if I need a car with a full tank of gas and or diesel or whatever, and I'm on the road, I'll survive. But I ain't running. Not a hope.
No, I'm not a big fan of the running. I was saying running now. Like Greg had the picture of me on the treadmill chasing that was what he put out with the croissants. But yeah, I mean, I'd have to go with the jungle just because there's absolutely no way I'm being out in the desert and absolutely no way I'm being in the frozen. So that leaves jungle. And I still stand by dinosaurs for dinner. That's my argument.
Dinosaurs for dinner.
Dinosaurs for dinner. There's a quote from that. So I'm going to jump into probably the thing it's not really a question, but I was going to ask you, what is the weirdest thing that's come up about your books? And then I was thinking it's probably one of my questions because I fixate on such bizarre things.
It's just popped into my head straight away, and it has to be.
Does Paris need to pee?
Does Paris need to pee? When you were reading it, and I was like going, it was I'm so used to the comments and the little things in the edits, and I'm like going, I just can't win. It was that what it was. I was like, I can't win.
But it wasn't meant as a trick question. Like I just wanted to know how it works, the physiology of it. I mean, for those of you that haven't read the Defy series, there's a character in there who dies and he comes back as a ghost. But then at certain points, he can become corporeal and he can eat and drink and do other things. And then he becomes a ghost again. So what I wanted to know was, if he's eating and drinking, he's like, does he have to use the bathroom? Or, I mean, how's that one? Does he then go incorporeal again? And then what, does everything just disappear? Or when he comes back, is it all back there again? I need to know these things. Does anyone else ask you weird questions like that? Or is it just like, no, there's nothing weirder than what Melanie can? My bangs are annoying me. They're kind of crooked.
No, I don't think that there's been that many.
Just my comments.
Weird questions. It's more, I've had one or two, why didn't this person end up with that person? I'm like going, ew, no. With some of them.
I want to know. Who did they want to end up with who? Because on another page, I had a weird question about an author's character and a sea monster. And I was just like, why do people think of it? So I want to know, who did they want to end up together? Who did they think should be together? Or is it like a big spoiler?
No, it's not a big spoiler, but it was like I think was it somebody towards the start wanted to know why nothing had happened between Derek and Caitlin.
Ew.
And I was like, no, they're like brother and sister.
No. Oh my god, no.
It's a completely different, and there was no hint at any stage.
No, there was definitely nothing other than familial type.
People will ship who they want to ship in your
very
books.
True. Very true. And you can't stop them. No matter, like just like you can't stop me moaning about Derek and Ever a lot.
Exactly. And like people are going to hate some characters in the books, and some people are going to like characters that I don't particularly like writing about and want to read more about them. Like
that's actually a question from May Rose. She says, have any of your characters ever just flat out pissed you off to the point where you started to hate writing about them?
No, I don't think so. I think I'm influenced by other people, and there was at some stage during when I was writing 3 books that Ever and Derek didn't appear in a lot.
The best ones.
That I started to feel I can't go back to writing about him. I just can't. And then I knew, because Arsonist Lullaby was planned out from the start, and this
Yeah.
was how it was going to start to end. I knew I had to go back to it, but I was like going, okay, I like these characters. Stop listening to Melanie and just keep going.
I just ignore the comments down the side about various...
Yeah, because I know I can go and I can say to you, okay, Ryan's about to do something stupid. Help me through it. But I can do it with the new books because you like the new books and you like the characters in them, even though there is a werewolf in it. And I kind of go, yeah, I have these things with Ever and Derek, and I'm like, can't go to Melanie about these because she'll just tell me kill them, and they're not dying.
Well, it's to everything. Oh, Derek's got himself this. I'll have someone shoot him. It'll be fine.
You're like the queen in Alice in Wonderland, off with their head.
Yeah, I'm not even sorry. It's like I don't know why either. I mean, werewolves have always been a thing for me. You know, werewolves have always been a big thing for me, but there are exceptions. There are exceptions to the shifter rule. For those of you that know me really well and have seen my stuff with Laurel K. Hamilton, there are a couple in the Laurel K. Hamilton world that sort of work for me. Nikki works for me. I mean, he's a psychopath, so maybe that's why. And Clay in Kelly Armstrong's world, not TV Clay though. TV Clay was worse. He annoyed me, but book Clay worked for me. But that's about, those are my like two shifter exceptions. And I mean, I don't mind some of Anita's other shifters that she has around, but Derek, I find Derek very annoying.
You like Roman. You like Roman.
I do like Roman. Roman makes me laugh. You guys, that's a little spoiler. Roman that you'll get to meet in the Sicarius Security series, which is releasing. Is it August we're releasing that? August, September? August, which is book 1 in the new series. And there's a werewolf in it that makes me laugh. And I think Susan put all of her effort into it. I think she just channeled Greg. And she's like, if Greg was, because Greg's always telling me he's a wolf and he runs hot. And he does it a lot to wind me up. But that is in there, and I do see a lot of that in Roman, and I laugh, and I hate it when I laugh because like he made me laugh, and I put a little comment for Susan like, I can't believe the werewolf made me laugh. It was like, that was very annoying to me.
That was a victory day for me. I had my flag out and I celebrated.
Victory! Mel likes the werewolf. See, I can be objective. It's like they just have to work a little harder for me to appreciate them. Right, let me check on where we are with questions and everything. Ali says, Ali Foy would like to know, what was the first author you fell in love with and that you still love today? And did they inspire you to be a writer? And if not, was there a writer that, if a writer didn't inspire you, what was your inspiration?
For me, growing up, it was a lot different than, say, growing up in Ireland and trying to get hold of quality books. Like I think I was in my early teens before I found Laurel K. Hamilton, which was one of the first paranormal authors that I fell in love with, in a bookshop in the train station in Dublin, and they were on sale. So I bought I think I bought about 12 of them in together. Wow. They were like 3 for 2. So I bought, and you've seen the really, really old covers and the paper we had.
See, I didn't discover Laurel K. Hamilton until 7 or 8 years ago. I mean, Laurel K. Hamilton was really, I'm not one of these ones that's been with Laurel K. Hamilton since the beginning. I mean, I've read all of the books, but when I found them, I think there was like 17 or 18 already out before I even heard, and it was like a random find.
I think mine was I think there was about 12 out at the time that I got them, and I read them and I loved them. And then I started saying, okay, because my mom introduced me to books. She read to me when I was younger. She's the one who gave me my love of reading. It was a case of finding, I was reading James Patterson books when I was 8 and 9 because I was just such a fast reader, and my reading level was higher, and the books that were suitable or were available to Irish people at that time wasn't great. So it was all famine books, and it was all these kind of ones. Now, read them, they were great. There was one, Under the Hawthorn Tree, which was a series, and it went into all about the Irish famine, but that's history, and you know yourself,
right?
you're a child, and Irish history is bait into you when you're in school. You don't want to go home and read Irish history. You want to go and imagine somewhere.
You want something different.
Exactly. So like I read the quintessential, the Babysitter's Club, Sweet Valley High books, all those kind of ones, but I wasn't interested. But as soon as, like, the crime ones, James Patterson, I love the crime ones, but I soon got bored of them because midway through, even 9, 10, I was like, oh, he did it. And it's the same with television. I'd be sitting there watching TV at night, and I swear it drives my mum crazy, and I'll be like, yeah, he did it. And then at the end of it, I'm like, I'm right.
My mum does that, but what she does is she picks the famous person that's guest starring, and she's like, oh, he's been in something else and he's famous, he must be the murderer. And often that works. But Emily is the one that can spot. Oh, Emily is a nightmare child, that Emily. I mean, that she spotted that. I'm not going to say what it actually was, but Susan knows. In Butterfly Effect, Emily was reading Butterfly Effect, which is book 2, and then before book 3 comes out, there's something that happens at the end of book 3 that completely took me off guard, and I was so shocked. And Em, partway into book 2, said to me, and I messaged you, Susan, I was like, Emily just said this. I can't believe she just said this. And there was nothing to give it away, but she's really good at things like that. And she does the same thing with TV shows, I think, because we've watched so many, and we have the same thing with movies. But for me, it was Anne McCaffrey. Anne McCaffrey was the one my dad read, and he gave me Anne McCaffrey at like 7 or 8, and it was like, okay, I now want to be a crystal singer and I want to ride dragons. So that was my plan. But you also had people say, I think in one of the Shakespeare books, you have a thing about one of your teachers that basically said you'd never be a writer.
Yeah, that was in secondary school. I went to, when I was in secondary school, and you go through all this, and my 2 career choices that I wanted to do was I wanted to be an actress and I wanted to win an Oscar, or I wanted to be a writer and I wanted to write the movie that I won the Oscar for. So those were
I love that. So you wanted to write and star in it, or did you, at that point, were you happy with the writer's one?
It was both. I wanted to do both.
You got all the Oscars.
Like I'll say it. I loved, like, I went to drama school till I was 18, and going onwards then to drama school didn't work out for me, so kind of lost the love of it a little bit. And then I always wrote, so I always wrote poems, I wrote little stories and all that kind of stuff, but that's what I wanted to do. And I had an English teacher, she was also my history teacher. Now I love, and I say it, and I love Irish history, and I love learning about history and all of that, and it's what makes me Irish and all that kind of stuff. But she kind of took away the love that I had for history and the love that I had for English in a way, because she told me that from where I grew up, that I would never be a writer. I wasn't from the right background in order to be a writer. So
I'm so glad that you did it anyway. I don't think you should ever, I mean, I'm all for setting realistic expectations. I'm definitely not a fan of everybody gets a trophy thing, but something like writing, I mean, that would have been an absolute travesty if you hadn't written Chatter. I mean, I think that would have been a travesty. You have so much amazing work out there, incredible work, and you touch so many people.
It's always that I say that even if the person doesn't do what they want to do, like, I haven't won an Oscar yet.
Still time.
Or I haven't written a screenplay worthy of an Oscar or anything like that, but it's encouragement, and it's what you can take. Like, I did drama for years, and anyone that's read my books knows that I'm a little bit sarcastic, and the characters are a little bit sarcastic.
A little bit sarcastic?
A lot. I'm a lot sarcastic, and I like humor in. It's like my real life. If you're in a situation where things are going tits up, I'm more likely to come in with an inappropriate comment than anything else. So that goes into my books. But
I think that's what makes them so relatable, though. I mean, because there's so many things, like you said, you take you might take a line from something that comes up randomly on live or from everyday conversations. And I think that's what makes your book so good, because your character, there's pretty much someone in your series that people can connect with. I mean, not so much Shattered Memory. Shattered Memory sort of like sits apart on its own in its own little bubble. But if you take the Everchase Chronicles, for example, it doesn't really matter what your base personality is like. I feel that there's a character in there at some point that you'll come be okay, that like that's my character. I mean, that I can relate to them, from whether it's the issues that they have, how they handle problems. I mean, you've got Ricky, who uses humor to cover so much hurt and backstory there. You've got Caitlin, who will be very, you know, she has a heart of gold, but most people don't get to see that. They only get to see the harsh exterior until they sort of like break down, and she's forever pushing people away. And I think there's somebody in there, if you're like a really annoying, whiny person, you can just like hook up with Eva. There's yours. But no, seriously, I do think there's so many. I think that's what's so incredible to me. And that's a big comparison with the Laurel K. Hamilton books. Their characters, some of they're so different, and yet they all kind of work. And coming out of one brain to me, that is, because I could probably write like my perspective, but I don't think I could come in from all of those different, there's so many different perspectives that you have coming in, and they all feel so real and so alive. It's amazing.
I think what helps is when I'm preparing, it's like, even when creating new characters, and like Ryan was a character that was fully formed apart from her name, Melanie, for so long, that it was like, it was, even when I'm creating characters, it goes down to what football team they support, what rugby team they support, what music they listen to. So like, I could be listening to songs, like there's songs on some of the playlists that I would never listen to. Like, I know even on, as we go along, I'll listen to a song and go, oh my God, that's a totally, like, that's a jazz song, who you'll get to meet, and I'll put it into it. And like, she could be listening from anything to Pearl Jam to Pussycat Dolls on her soundtrack, and it kind of helps get you in the kind of the space for them. And you give them little habits, like with Hell, and she's blowing the like, or Erica at the start with the bubble gum, just popping the bubble gum, or it's the little bits and pieces. And that's kind of because everybody has little nuances that they do or they say, or and that makes the character is real. And that's what I try and do.
It's really funny that you say that, because I know you don't watch Schitt's Creek. I know you're not a Schitt's Creek person, but I was watching a lot of interviews. I mean, we've become kind of obsessed with the whole Schitt's Creek thing. And I sent you the theme song for Alexis's theme song, a little bit Alexis. And when they were talking about it, one of the things is they had those characters before anything started filming. Those characters were completely fleshed out, right down to the backstory. Like, she had this theme song from this failed reality show, and they all had these amazing backstories. And it reminds me of you, because it's like, okay, because yeah, these characters go in, whereas a lot of shows, they sort of start and you will see, and the same with book series, you see sort of as they go on and they have these experiences and things change. That works, but if your character isn't solid to start with, I think that's why people can connect to your characters, because they are so real and they are so three-dimensional. And it's all those little things, like they're not just a brunette with blue eyes or whatever, right down to what kind of t-shirt and clothes they wear, the music they listen to. And like you said, like Erica snaps the gum, which is just so out there and not what you'd expect. It makes them real.
Exactly.
Brilliant. Love it. Right, let me see if I've got any more questions, because I know I'm keeping you here for, it's going to be a long old video. You guys, you have to let us know if you like these really long videos. Greg said to me, you need to split them up into like 10-minute segments. So no, people like the long one. Yeah, part 2, part 3. It's like those annoying books where you have like the little mini serials and you have to wait for the next one. Can't do with that. Nope. We did that one. What made upsetting? Ashley Belinsky would like to know, what made upsetting in any of your books do you wish you could visit?
Oh, Sanguine and Crown, definitely. Even it's just, I wanna go to Murphy's and I want to sit down and have a whiskey with Ryan, or just stroll around the court.
I want to stroll around the court. I want to go to the court and I want to stroll around and I want to walk down that staircase. That's what I want to do. I want to walk down that would be my thing. I want to walk down that staircase. I want a big epic dress and a crown.
And it's hard then to say because the books are set in where I live. So it's I'm still in the world. I'm just, my imaginary friends haven't come out of it yet.
So is Murphy's an actual place? Murphy's there? Is there a place like Murphy's there? It's not based on a real bar or anything that you frequent?
Murphy's is based more on a pub that's in Dublin. That we used to go to. Oh, what is the name of it? It was kind of a ritual for any concert that we go to, is we go into in there for a meal and a pint first, and then off down to the concert. That's basically, and Ryan's love of cheesecake is just basically my mum's love of cheesecake because I don't like cheesecake, so that plucked into my head and I gave it to the character. So the little teases of the cheesecake, but not really one in Cork, but definitely one in Dublin, and it's that's where I came from. There's a few bits and pieces that like I've created myself, but then there's other bits and pieces where I kind of go into a little bit of the history of the place that are real places, like a few bits and pieces in Burn Notice when that comes out that I'm not going to say anything about, and other bits and pieces that are definitely in that you can see. There's like even the place where Ricky and Melanie crash is a real place, and it's actually a place that I used to drive to in my old job where I used to go to, and the river is next to it, so it's actually a real place to gone into and stuff like that where I've kind of gone, yeah.
So if people were to come and do a book pilgrimage, they could really do a book pilgrimage from your books, and they could go to these places, because I know when you did Caitlin's books, you went to the catacombs in Paris and you went through those to get so you could write what it was like. So really people could, because there was one of the questions that came up with Jodie's, like, have you ever done like a literary or book pilgrimage? And I'm just thinking people could do your books. They could go here and go, okay, well, this is this. Go to France and go to the catacombs and go, well, okay, this is where Caitlin's book was.
Like even bits and pieces like the little houses and stuff like that, or where Caitlin's house is a house that I pass. It's up one of the country roads coming from one of our local supermarkets. That it's a funny story. It's my niece was in the car with me, and I pointed the house and I said, when I win the lotto, that's going to be my house. And it was in the same car ride that she taught me. Now I'm always trying to influence people with my music, as you. So I was trying to get her to listen to a little bit of Bring Me the Horizon and the swear songs, because that's the kind of aunt I am. And she told me I wasn't grown up enough to sing the swear words because I didn't have my own house. So that was the funny thing. But it was like that house, I told her, because it's up in the country, but it's kind of like you just see it as you're driving. Yeah. I always used to say, and that was the house that I fashioned Caitlin and Donnie's house on.
Wow. So in theory, down the road, if you end up buying that, you'd have people coming up and visiting, because now they all know that that's Caitlin's and Donnie's house.
And without having a spoiler, but the place where Melanie was kidnapped, that's
I think that's really a spoiler. I mean, that's right back in book one. I was like, you're
watching it now and they haven't read the books, then
okay, we'll put a spoiler thing up. Yeah, where Melanie gets kidnapped. Well, that's not really a spoiler. It's just like, I mean, that's pretty much on the back of the I feel like it's in the synopsis, so you're good.
That's actually where I was working there at the time that I wrote the book, never contemplating that anyone would ever read it and recognize the place. I didn't name it. I just said what it was. But yeah, that's exactly the floor that I worked. Funny. And that's where it happened. So I wrote it in, and it's a place, like, and it's still there.
I'm not sure I would want to visit that. My poor namesake's character does not have a good time there. It's not a good place. So, okay, let me see if I got any of the other questions in here. I think I actually got most of. Oh no, Jodie says, plan a dinner party for your characters. What's included in each course, and what beverages will be served, and what's the decor? She wants all the details. So let's pick, I'd say do the Everchase series because I think they have the most characters that people know.
I think if you're going to do it, because this is funny, it's actually funny because one of the scenes that I'm going to be writing, because I'm nearly finished with the book, is going to be a kind of a little nod to the Avengers. So anyone
Okay,
that
I thought you were going to say 1 awful minute, a nod to the end of True Blood where they have that dinner party at the end. That was not
no,
fun.
but you know, in the Avengers, I don't know whether you've seen it or not. The first movie where they all
Oh, yeah,
they
I
sit
think I've
around
seen
the
I might
table.
have seen the first one a long time ago. I don't remember much of that. I'm not a Marvel person.
They all sit around a table and they have a meal. So it was kind of like it's just coming to the part now where a few of the characters are going to be sitting around a certain table and having a meal, but it's going to be like you're just going to have a few bits and pieces tied up in that conversation. So yeah, the only spoiler I can give is it's just going to be probably breakfast. So, and it's not going to be cooked by any of the main characters that are in the book.
So there you go. So Jodie, if you're watching this, you have to read all the books because your dinner party is going to be in Gods and Monsters. That's where your dinner party will be. So that's pretty funny. So
It was planned, and then I read Jodie's, and I was like going, yeah, it just looks like I took Jodie's idea now and put it into the book, but it was planned.
it's been planned. It's like disclaimer, it's been planned. Okay, I think I got through most of the questions that we picked off the website. Were there any that you saw that I didn't pick to answer, or anything else you want to talk about or say about, or anything?
No, I don't think so. I was surprised that there wasn't a lot of questions about music and stuff like that, because I think
I
everybody
think that the Muses are pretty used to you talking about music, and you have your music articles on the website. So I think they have a lot of insight into the music things. I mean, they were definitely thinking outside the box with these questions, which was
definitely.
a lot of fun. Well, I think we're going to wrap everything up, and I'll do my out because Greg isn't here to mock me, which is always good.
Do I have to do it now?
Are you going to do it? Are you going to do the mock thing? Bye! I gotta change it. It's like 4 years of videos, you guys. It's like the bye is going to be at the end of it, and it's just me. It's how I sign off. But I am going to say a huge thank you to Susan for taking time out to come and chat and answer all the questions. Susan, I'm sure will be back with me to do a Zoom about something else in the future. If there's something you guys want to see us talk about, let us know in the comments. I know some people have suggested a few shows, but they aren't shows that we both watch, or they're shows that haven't like wrapped up yet, and then it becomes really hard to talk about them without spoilers. For like with the Vikings, it was so heavy full of spoilers when the series finished. But you can check out all of Susan's books. I'm going to put a link to all book ones in the series in the description for the video, so head down there and grab those. And book one in the Defy the Stars trilogy and the Sanguine Crown series and the Everchase series, they are all free, I believe, right now on all platforms, but I'll put the Amazon links down there. Of Gods and Monsters is almost done, so that would be a whole Everchase series complete. The Defy the Stars trilogy is complete. What have we got? Sanguine Crown. We have 3 books out, and book 4 is available for pre-order. That's right, yep. Isn't it? Bird Knife is out. So all the links down there in the comments. And Shattered Memories. Shattered Memories is a standalone which you can get now, and it will wreck you. And then you can come and tell me how much it wrecked you, because I tell everybody it will wreck you, and it does. I have people message me. Shannon Watts messaged me. She go, oh, this book. It's like, yes, this book is evil. So right, and with that, I'm going to say all the regular YouTube things. If you like this video, please do the fun YouTube things. Like, comment, and subscribe. Leave it out in the comment. Let us know what you think about these longer videos. Do you like these Zoom ones? Do you think we should do what Greg says and split them up into smaller bits? Because I could do that when we edit them. But generally, I just pop them all up, and I figure you guys can come and watch it in stages if you want to, rather than sitting and watching it all at once. Leave a comment, let us know if there are any questions that you have for Susan that didn't get answered. I'm sure she'll pop back and read comments and let us know. And of course, make sure you hit the notification bell, subscribe to Melanie's Muses so you don't miss any of my videos, including the Forgotten Feature Friday every Friday, Mail Call Mondays every Monday, weird and random stuff in between, and Zoom chats on Wednesday as and when they are available. Come to Facebook, join me for Facebook Live every Sunday at noon Eastern with Greg. I can't apologise for Greg because I never know what he's going to do. And it's usually crazy, but it's definitely fun and insane. And of course, go to the website, melaniesmuses.com. You will see articles from me. You'll see a lot of articles from Susan. Susan very involved on the website. And there's giveaways and all that fun stuff and everything else. And with that, I hope to see you back here next time. Bye.
Bye.
So I'm going to say this. Do you want to do a brief intro for anyone on my channel that might not know who, because they should all know who you are by now, but no? No? Okay. We'll cut that bit out and stick it at the end. I'll do the intro for you. So Susan Harris is an author of several genres of books. I mean, she likes to mix and match from her Everchase Chronicles, which are a paranormal criminal minds, to her young adult, so I'm going to forget it now, and an upcoming new adult, yeah, a new adult series.
Do we know what it is yet? What genre?
No, we don't. It's brand new and that's coming. And I was like, it's new adult. It hasn't really got categorized yet. So we'll just leave it at that, but it's really super cool. Oh, and we have the, yep. Brains gone. Oh, my God.
The Romeo and Juliet or the...
No, the other one, the vampire one.
Penguin and Crown.
Yes, oh my God. Let's try that.
Considering you named it,
I
don't know how you could forget it.
A great bit at the blooper reel. We'll try that again. Oh, I tell you, my brain is fried this morning. It's too early here and I haven't had enough coffee. All right. So Susan Harris, young adult author, has done. No, you don't see young adult author. This is a nightmare. Oh my God, Susan. Welcome to what Filming with Me is really like. Are you feeling better now? You're like, okay, she doesn't make this up. Yeah. She really has no idea. Right. Third time's the charm.
You cute.
Susan. Oh, right. Susan Harris. Stop it. We should put the blooper reel up. Never mind the interview.
This is just going to be the whole recording. It's
recording is going to be going nuts. All right. Hopefully that is recording. Do you get a notification that it's recording?
Yeah, it's recording.
Yay! Fabulous. You know, I wish they'd keep the little names down in the corner when you go to.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, but you don't. When I put it onto the computer, like when I save the recording, it doesn't have them anymore.
Doesn't it?
No. So if you were to have this big meeting and have a whole bunch of people there that you didn't actually know and rely on that little thing, you'd have to take a screenshot before you did it so you know who everyone was. Okay, that was really hard work. All right, I'm gonna get some caffeine and then we can start for real. It's like, oh my God, no coffee because I figured I'd probably spit it all over myself. There's going to be lots of edits on this for the blooper reel at the end. Like, okay, welcome to real life. A lot of fun. We definitely have to get Krista around so that we can have a. She doesn't Zoom though. She keeps saying that she might add it. Krista, this is a call out for you. You need to Zoom so that we can put the baby group, baby Yoda debate to rest.
She does recordings all the time, so she can do a Zoom.
I know, that's what I said. I think for her it's time because she will literally video so much.
Yeah.
And then edit. She does a whole lot of stuff, but we will see if we can get her to coordinate. I mean, that'd be 3 different time zones we're trying to coordinate it. 3 because you're 5 hours ahead of me and I'm 3 hours ahead of Krista.
Yeah, it's 5 o'clock in the evening now, so yeah,
it's midday here.
Yeah,
and it's 9 o'clock in the morning there. God, and she's been at work for hours. She gets to work. She must get to work at like 6 o'clock in the morning. It's normally about 9 o'clock my time that she's like getting to work. Oh, I can't even imagine.
I can't work out time zones at all. It's just that like
my wig is really annoying me. It's not straight. Fix the wig. So there you go. Well, thanks, Susan. Oh, my nose is. Oh, my nose is itching. Well, thank you for coming out and chit-chatting.
No,
you moving everything now?
I am. I was just setting it down so I can move the table and stretch my legs.
Stretch your legs. So, what are you up to for the rest of the day? Anything fun?
No, I'm going to go cook the dinner now and maybe finish up a little bit that I was doing on of Gods and Monsters.
Sounds
We're
good.
just the tying up a few loose ends and actually writing your chapter at the moment. So yeah,
And then
there's a
it's
lot of things. Yeah, that's about it. And plans you?
I'm going to go and I'm going to film a review for Janine Frost's book. I still haven't heard anything back, so I'm going to just get the review up and get that ready to go. And I have to film tomorrow's Forgotten Feature Friday, which is actually a request from Greg and Chuck. And I can tell you what it is because this won't be up until after I'll do the video tomorrow. It's The Last Starfighter.
The what?
The Last Starfighter.
Never heard of it.
It's a good movie. It's a very good movie. Actually reminds me a lot of Ender's Game by Orson Scott Card. They came out at about the same time, which is kind of weird. I think the movie actually came out first, but I knew the book first. And it's basically people playing a video game and they're being hired. Like the video game is actually like war tactics. And it's like an alien war. And the people that are the best at the game get to go and fight in the alien war thing. So that's basically what that's about. I mean, it's a good movie. Good. It is an old forgotten movie, but I have to try and find if it's streaming anywhere and that kind of stuff. But I'm hoping more people will suggest movie. I've had some suggestions, but not all of them I've seen. Like, I've got to try and find Foxfire. Someone was asking me about Foxfire.
You need to do Dog Soldiers.
You
need to watch it, and then you need to, because it's just so hilarious. It's gory.
I didn't find it. Did I tell you I found Dog Soldiers on Amazon Prime?
Yeah.
I found it on Amazon. I haven't watched it, but I found it. I did look it up, and it was there. It's like it's free to watch.
Did you watch Harrow yet?
Yes.
Second one.
Yes.
With the vampire.
Yes.
Because I was like going, Melanie never mentioned anything about the flower and the heart. And I was like going, dude, I need to write that in.
Okay, so the story with it doesn't have to be, that's actually going back to Dracula, funnily enough. It's actually in the original Dracula, rose petals. If you put rose petals in the mouth, it's meant to be in the mouth, not in the heart. And you put a rose in the mouth and it will burn them. The petals will burn them, mainly when they're in their wolf form for some weird and obscure reason. But they made a big deal about it being yellow rose petals in the chest. That's kind of something that they adapted from the Romanian law. It used to be communion wafers. They used to say you take the heart out and replace them with communion wafers. And the garlic in the mouth, that was very Dracula and the whole state thing. Yeah, I loved that episode. Even I was like that episode was just epic. And I really love the fact that there was no supernatural stuff ever at the end. Like it got to, but the guy actually thought that. And then when she woke up in the morgue, that was, and I asked for big spoilers, like Harrow spoilers. That was so good though. And that poor couple, because that, I can't say who it was, but the one doing the killing really thought that he was doing the right thing.
Yeah, because of where he was from, like.
Yeah, and all the history and whatever. But yeah, that was really cool. It's like, oh wow, he sleeps in the coffin and he had his little groupies following around, and that was a really good episode. But yeah, because Greg said the same thing to me. He's like, what's the deal with the rose petals? I'm like, well, it doesn't have to be yellow roses, and technically they don't have to go in the chest cavity. They're generally in the mouth, but they've got the garlic in the mouth. But there is a rose law sort of tied in with some of the old Romanian vampire bits. So that was kind of. So I'm watching the worst vampire series in the world ever right now, possibly.
What is it?
I want to say it's called Death Bringers. It's Death something. It's 7 episodes. No, it's not Death Bringers. That doesn't sound right. But it had a theme song, and Greg and I were both up there last night trying to Siri and whatever that thing is that's on the Android to find out what this theme song is. They couldn't find the theme song because I wanted to send it to you because it sounds like a song that would belong to one of your characters. But this series, it's only 7 episodes. It's a 2020 series, and it's sort of like, I don't even know what. It's like someone read Twilight and wanted to they read Twilight, they watched The Vampire Diaries, and then they filmed it at high school in England, like at college. It's like college level film. It literally, and the effects are about college level. And yeah, you have these half vampire that are pure vampires. And based on the trailer, we haven't got to this bit yet, but based on the trailer, the pure vampires don't like these half-breed vampires and they want to kill them all off. And the half-breed vampires seem to go.
That was the book. I was trying to think. Was this the book where they
No, this was something that Amazon just like up last night. They're like, okay, you like weird stuff, watch this. And I watched a trailer for it. I was like, yeah, I'll give it a chance. But literally, I've watched an episode in about 10 minutes of the second. They're only like 30-minute episodes, and I only made it through 1.5. But I kind of feel I need to watch the rest of it now. Greg's like, why are you watching this? It's so bad. So I feel like it's homework. I feel that I almost need to know all the vampire stuff that's out there. That's kind of fun. But it's like, that's why I'm watching this show. And I'm like, I kind of feel that it is almost my job now to be up on all of the. I would hate for someone to come in and go, oh, did you see that vampire thing and this and that? And it has got some different vampire ideas in there. I mean, there's nothing ultra rigid. These vampires just seem to do a lot of drugs in college, not really doing any classes.
So they're just normal 20-something-year-olds
that are half vampires, and the half vampires at least seem to be able to go out in the daylight, although they do party at night and they do. It's very weird, and it's definitely shot with a camcorder. Well, it's not. No, that's not fair. It's not a camcorder, but it's definitely feeling like a film student project. Does that make sense? It's like that's
and watch something better.
But I feel that at this point, I was like, okay, I have to watch it because it's up there. Actually, you don't have to, but I feel like I do. I feel like I need to at least watch the first season so that I've got.
No, 3 episodes, and if it's not good.
Well, I've only watched 1, so yeah. I mean, if I get to 3 episodes and it's really, really crazy, but.
We started Devils with Patrick Dempsey in it. We got to 3 episodes and I was like, nah.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. There's nothing. But I love that new Resident Alien. If you haven't watched Resident Alien, that's so funny. Oh, I love that. But I've already worked out that they can't do more than 2 seasons or it'll go off the rails. Because, well, this is my. I mean, it's not on there. There's nothing. No one said anything. But the way I work it out is like he's a guy and he's pretending to be an alien and he's come to the planet, and the aliens. This is basically in the first episode. So if you haven't watched that, stop listening now because this is after stuff anyway. So if you're still here, you must be interested in what we're yabbering about. But it gets to the end of the first episode, and it turns out that he was meant to be there to set an extinction event, and humans aren't worth living and they're going to be destroyed. But his spaceship broke, and so now he's living among the humans. So what I'm thinking is it's already going to start getting less funny because he's super smart and so he's adapting. You know how Sheldon was at the beginning but versus how he was at the end of Big Bang. We're only 3 episodes in and already you're seeing a big shift in his behavior because otherwise he wouldn't fit in. I mean, he's adapting. So I'm guessing you're going to get to the end of season 1 and he's going to be like, okay, I want to save the humans now. I love the humans. And then season 2 could be more aliens come down and he's got to try and stop the aliens destroying the planet. And then that's it. I don't see where they can go after that. And I think that's pushing it. I do. I think like that's.
The premise of it just reminds me of Alf.
Yeah. I mean, I can see it. And it's so funny that when he goes, the first interactions in town, and because he watches Law and Order, he learns all his English from Law and Order. And he's obsessed with it. So much so that the Law and Order Special Victims Unit Speed had it up. Because he goes like, chung chung.
I was like, when I seen it, and then it was the clung clung on it, and I was like,
clung. And Greg does that a lot, so we do that clung clung a lot in this house now. But the thing is, that's really funny. And when he goes to the bar and dances, that's hilarious. But we're already 3 episodes in, and he's already adapting a little more. And each episode, obviously, he's meant to be this super smart alien. So obviously, the more he's around people, the more he's going to fit in. And then it's not funny anymore because he's not going to be saying the stuff that's out there and bizarre that makes it funny. So the only way I can see it going is that he's going to get to the end and decide of this season where it's meant to be, and he's going to decide he's not going to do the extinction event. And I would have the end of season 1 with the other alien coming down to say, what the hell are you doing? Why have you not blown this planet up yet? And him being, no, we have to save them. And the other alien being like, no, we're not going to save them. and then you get season 2. And that's it. That's as far as I can see this going without it going off the rails. And they already cancelled my other show. Did you see they cancelled Truth Seekers?
No.
They cancelled it. Nick Frost, Simon Pegg.
You shouldn't be able to watch anything until at least 2 seasons are out, and then you should watch it because everything you watch gets cancelled.
That's so bloody rude. It's also true, but completely bloody rude. And I'm going to clip that bit, and I'm going to put it up as a little thing.
It's funny because it's true.
Right. Thanks, Susan. I will talk to you very, very soon. Go have a wonderful day and enjoy your dinner. And I'm going to watch 1 season of everything now.
On that bombshell, dun dun, she's gone.
Glug glug.